Hello and welcome to this edition of TMA's Farm Margin Talk. This is Devin Schierling, Grain Marketing Manager for TMA. On this week's Farm Margin Talk, we're going to cover a little bit of information from the USDA report that came out today, and then we're going to give a quick update on dryland corn, wheat, and soybean profitability. So as we look at our farm margin index for November the 9th, 2012, with all the volatility we experienced this week, we didn't see quite as much volatility when it comes to profit per acre, with corn and beans leading us lower at roughly $11 an acre decrease on irrigated corn and beans, and about a $6 to $7 decrease on our dryland crops. But wheat was the lone survivor here, with actually increased in profitability by $3 an acre from our last week's report. And this is the micro numbers based off of new crop cash prices at Groveland, Kansas. And you'll notice that we did adjust some crop nutrient numbers on dryland and irrigated corn to reflect some fertility changes, as well as made a slight increase over here on irrigated wheat to more accurately reflect the crop nutrient expenses. So when we look at our USDA report, for the most part, it was a lackluster report for corn with very little information coming out of it. And for wheat, we were relatively caught off guard by the increase in overall ending stocks by 50 million bushels, which caused a little bit of pressure to be put on the wheat market. But the big surprise for the day was came in the soybean pit, where the trade was expecting an increase in yield in the United States for beans, but they weren't expecting a 1.5 bushel increase, coupled with increased world production to really move our world ending stocks higher to that 2.46 million metric tons. But what I found really interesting on the soybean site, and I got this slide from Rich Morrison with Diversified Services, was comparing October to November numbers. Every state reporting did not show a decrease, and we were led by Ohio and Illinois, both with 4 bushel an acre increases from the October to November reports. So now we're going to focus over and give a quick snapshot on profitability. This is dryland corn based off a 90 bushel APH in projected expenses. And as you can see here, at $144 an acre profitability, where we stack up to in comparison to other years. And when you look at that from a percentile pack, at 144 an acre profitability, only 20 or 25% of the time have you been able to sell at greater profitabilities. So as we look forward through this winter, let's make sure we have a plan in place to capture some of these opportunities that are available to us today. Moving over to the soybeans, it's a very similar story with good profitability available for us. And as you can see, we're definitely trading in that top 1/3 of the marketplace. From a wheat perspective, I know we've been talking about wheat a lot lately, but it's been a very shining star when it comes to profitability. And at $98 an acre profitability projections today, you can see that only 1, 2, 3 different times, or less than 10% of the time, have you been able to sell at higher profit per acres than where we're at today. And the percentile graphs show that as well. From that angle at $98 an acre of profitability. So make sure you have a plan in place. I know we're dry in the winter wheat area. There's some concerns growing around the world, but that doesn't mean we can't be proactive and look at minimum profit per acres instead of just locking that in today with a normal cash sale. So what's causing the market to move today? Like I said, weather concerns. It doesn't matter where you're at. Weather concerns continue to be an issue. And it seems like that the dryness here in the U.S. when it comes to a wheat crop is really starting to come into our markets lately. Logistically, with Japan coming back to the U.S. to buy some corn potentially, and then also look at some of the barge issues that our dry weather is causing, has really changed some of the logistic patterns of what's going on right now. And then continue to digest these world production numbers and how this picture becomes a lot clearer for us is as we move a couple months down the road, is really what's causing a lot of this indecision and volatility in today's marketplace. For more additional information, feel free to contact your TMA grain marketing or crop insurance specialist. Thank you and have a great weekend.